Welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing podcast. It's Kate, as always, and we're back for another week, another chit chat, and another you and me session. And I'm kind of loving and hating the fact that we only get to talk like just you, just me, anyone else who tunes in, only every 2 weeks. But I also love hearing what our guests have to say because they all have different levels of wisdom, guidance, and awesome life experiences to share. So, let's catch up. Life update, last 2 weeks. What is there to say? I got to go home last weekend. That was awesome. I had the best time hanging out with my family. My parents and I are super close, so it was really nice to be able to catch up with them, have a chat. Mum and I did some shopping, winter clothes damage, whoopsies, but it was so much fun. And a lot of my friends from home were away over the weekend, so I was kind of forced to hang out with my parents, but not forced, and I'm kind of so glad I was. We had a couple of movie nights and just spent time together. I've been so busy with tests, and I'm honestly over it, but we've just got to get through the 4 tests next week, and then it's like my mid-semester break. No, it's not even mid-semester break, it is like our semester break, because I'm on placement for 3 months of the year, and then I'm on campus for 6. I do 2 to 3 months, and then I got my semester break, and then we do slightly different papers next term, next semester. So that'll be cool. We've got a bit more hands-on stuff, and I'm super excited for that. And we're done with physics after the next assessment, so thank goodness, because physics is killing me. I'm gone. Apart from that, last 2 weeks, haven't done anything too exciting, trying to take care of myself while still staying on top of the whole study thing. Studying is so, great and terrible. I can be extremely productive once I get started, but getting started studying seems to be my biggest life problem. Anyway, this week we're talking about dreams. And I don't mean nightmare dreams and what you dream of at night. Although that would actually make a really good episode to get everyone to send in their randomest favourite dreams and nightmares, and we can talk about them. See if we can unpack their deeper meaning. But no, we're talking about goals dreaming. What do you want to accomplish in life? And I feel like the word dream gets a little bit mixed up because when you talk about dreams, I feel like people think that means it's not possible. Means it's too far-fetched that you're actually not going to get there. That's why it's a dream, because it's the kind of thing you think of when you're falling asleep at night, but a lot of those things in your dreams never going to happen. And I think it's so important that we realize that so often we actually give up on our big dreams because they seem too far-fetched, or people tell us they're too far-fetched, and people make us think that those dreams are impossible. But you'll genuinely find that most dreams aren't actually impossible. They just have steps to get there. And I think that all comes back to the fact that we let people and we let society dictate what we do, how we act, and how we dream, the goals we set. Because we set goals and dreams that are within society's standards. Whereas if we were to dream what our heart really desires, you'd find that the majority of us find a dream that sits outside that societal outline, that societal guideline. And I want to dream outside the societal guideline. I want to think of the crazy things I could do. Obviously not things that are going to risk death, but I want to think of the crazy things, the things that make life worth living. And people dream big. They want to go skydiving. They want to do this. Don't think I could stomach skydiving, but if somebody wanted to go with me, probably would do it. Somehow the idea of bungee jumping is more scary than skydiving for me. And let's unpack that real quick. It'll take 2 seconds. But the idea of the fact that I'm attached to this bungee cord, and I'm diving attached to this bungee cord, in my mind I'm cool, jumping off, bungee catches me, bungee bounces me, But then I come back up, and then what happens if the bungee just snaps and then I just drop? Especially the bungees we have here in New Zealand, they're either like the Sky Tower one in Auckland, which is literally like over a big platform and over the city, and you just go splat onto the concrete. Or you've got the one that I know of in Taupo, where it's like over a big ravine with water, like a rivery thing, and you just drop into the river and possibly also die. Anyway, onto lighter topics. But with skydiving, I feel like you're free falling, like you're free falling skydiving, and you're not attached to anything. So the only thing you've actually got to rely on is that parachute. But also, if the fact that you chose to go skydiving, you automatically know there's always a chance that you could just splash onto the ground. Anyway, moving on. My point being, I want dreams to make big dreams, ones that are crazy, ones that people think could never happen. Because if they do happen, or when you make them happen, it just seems that even bit crazier. Because the people in your life are going to be like, she did what now? Anyway, I would like to believe that in reality, no dream is impossible. Every dream just has steps to getting there. Some are tiny, some are little things like, I'm going to use the podcast for an example, because never in a million dreams. A million dreams? What's the saying? Never in a million days? No, it is a million dreams. I think it's because we're talking about dreams that I'm like, wait, what's the saying? But never in a million dreams would I have thought that I would be starting a podcast, that I would have a podcast, that I would have talked to all these people I look up to and seek wisdom of. Never in a million years. Oh, it's never in a million years. Never in a million dreams works too, I guess. Oh my goodness, where's my brain going today? I'm sorry, we're a little bit all over the place, but I'll get to my point somewhere. Never in a million years did I think that people would come in and listen to me chat about things that are important to me. Never did I think that people would be able to bond over our shared experiences and relate to the things I'm saying. So this is just a quick thank you for being here, but also, onto my point, dreams have steps. The first step to the podcast, choose a name. Second step, create an email, socials, all those important things. Mini step 3, do some research, make sure nobody else has taken that name or has such a well-known podcast. There are other It's a Girl Thing podcasts out there, but when I started this one, there was only like 1 or 2 out there, and they hadn't posted anything since like 2020, 2021. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be fine. And they were a different kind of topic too. And then now I know there's one that's been made after me, which is, I don't know, possibly more popular. And that hurts my soul a little bit because this was my dream. The It's a Girl Thing podcast was my dream. Anyway, some medium steps. So my medium steps were things like talking to the people around me, telling my parents, getting the headset set up, getting a little microphone, planning. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear this, but I'm just going to pause for a brief moment because there's some kind of noisy car going to go past. Okay, I think it's gone. But those were like editing, recording, all those things were like medium steps. My big steps, I think, have been reaching out to my guests, writing emails, putting myself out there in a way that I hadn't before, posting on social media. Those were my big steps for me, because that's so scary, because people are going to see you, they get to see you for who you are, and like you're trying to bring people in. And I don't know, to me that was my big step. And then for those bigger, more far-fetched dreams, so to speak, sometimes take huge steps to get there. So I want you to think about what your dreams are. They can be your ordinary, within the societal guideline dreams, or your big, you never ever thought you'd be able to achieve it dreams. Think about your dreams. I'm really hoping you can't hear it because there is like a couple of kindergartens next door and there's screaming children. But this is all just part of the whole uni experience. This is me keeping it real with you. But think about your dreams and think about how you could get there. What would be the little starting steps? What would be those baby ones that take next to no effort, that are like 3 clicks of a button kind of dream steps? Then think about the next step up. What requires a little bit more effort, a little bit more planning, a little bit more thinking to execute to get to your dream? Think about your bigger steps. This step kind of falls in with the final step of your like societal dreams. What is possible? What can you achieve? What are those big steps you've got to take to complete your dream, to tick your dream off the box, whatever, tick the box. My words are not wording, but I'm kind of here for it. And then, if you're somebody with a crazy out there dream, if you want to do something amazing and it seems out of reach, what are the big, huge steps? What are the big, huge steps you'd actually have to take to get there? Because those steps may be so far away, seem impossible. You don't even know how to get to those steps. But if you know what those steps are, you're already a step closer to getting to those big steps. If you know what you need to do to get there, it will make it easier for you to get there because you know what it requires. I think it's okay to dream big. Truly, wholeheartedly, I think it's okay to dream big. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't get there. And yes, in some situations, the fact that you didn't reach your dream can be soul crushing and heartbreaking and truly hurt. But what's worse? The soul crushingness that you couldn't even dream it in the first place. That it was so out of reach, so to speak, that you couldn't even comprehend that you could put that as a dream. So think about it now. Think about your smaller dreams, the ones that are maybe just out of reach, that maybe in a few steps, small, medium, big, whatever they may be, that you might be able to reach. And then think crazy, think big. What have you always wanted to do? What have you always wanted to succeed at? Some of them won't happen, and that's okay. Like, I wanted to be a ballerina, but if you've seen me, I don't have a ballerina's figure. Which, totally, there is such a thing, but there is no such thing. It's one of those well-debated things. But I also knew I was never going to have what it took. So it was a dream, and that's okay. I had that dream. I knew that I wasn't going to reach it. But there are some out there dreams that you can reach. You could have been a little girl wanting to be a ballerina, and if you put the time, the effort in, and if you followed the steps, you would have got there. So it's all about looking at what you want. What do you want? Because in this world, we spend so much time thinking about what other people want for themselves, what other people want for themselves. We all spend time thinking about what other people want. But this time, just this time, or maybe even more times, what do you want? If you could do anything in this entire world, what would it be? The sky is the literal limit. Because we should live in a world where you can dream big. What are my dreams? While I think about my dreams, I just give you a moment. Think about yours. If money was no object, if time, if health, if any of those barriers stopping you weren't an object, what would you dream for? What would your dreams be? And just a quick moment, I do say money's no object, but I'm not talking like dreams like I want to buy a mansion and I want to have 53 dogs. Those aren't the kind of dreams we're talking at. We're talking like goals. I want to do this. I want to go to New York City and I want to perform on Broadway. Like, those are the kind of dreams I'm talking. For money, time, any of those blocking factors weren't there. COVID even, because I know that blocked a lot of people's dreams. While I think about mine, think about yours. What is your dream? Big, small, crazy? Okay, I think I've given you a little bit of time. You can always pause it if you need some more time to think about your dreams. I could probably use some more time, but I feel a bit awkward if I let us sit here for a few minutes. My current dream is totally achievable, but sometimes it feels a little bit less achievable, which is I want to be a radiographer, which is currently what I'm in school to study and to be. But that's my goal, my dream. In all reality, I'd love to be a doctor or I'd love to be an optometrist. I'd love to do something like that. But I don't want to do the study. I don't want to do the work. And that's okay. If I don't want to do the work, then I'm not going to get there, and then that's okay. So I've dismissed that as a dream. But my dream that I know I can get, if I work hard enough, is I can be a radiographer. And that is so cool to me. My other dreams, I would love the podcast to go big. I'd love to reach a community of even 1,000 people. Like, the concept that even the 68 or so of you who are subscribed follow along, even the idea that there's that many people in a room listening to me talk, that's insane to me. But imagine that on a bigger scale. So I'm trying to make my steps, and I'm trying to follow my steps to get there. Because although that dream seems far-fetched, although that dream seems crazy right now, I can achieve it. I might achieve it, I might not achieve it, but it's up to me to even try. Because if I don't try, I'm never ever going to reach it. I was never going to reach it in the first place if I didn't try. What were my dreams when I was a little kid? I wanted to be a mermaid. My mum will tell you this with 100% honesty. I wanted to be a mermaid. Like, I went through the biggest H2O phase that I feel like all the NZ Aussie girls went through. And if you were overseas, you might have seen Mako Mermaids or H2, I don't know which. But I wanted to be a mermaid. I wanted to be like, I didn't want to be a full-time mermaid. I wanted to be like, when I touch water, I'm going to turn into a mermaid vibe. Which, now that I'm a bit more grown up and I still would love to be a mermaid, I realised that I'm like, yeah, but the fact that you couldn't touch water without turning into a mermaid or get damp or sweat or anything like that, without turning into a mermaid, we have a bit of a problem. Like rain. Anyway, so I was desperate to be a mermaid. I'd play mermaids in the pool. I would pretend. I would convince myself that I was going to be a mermaid. My mother had to burst my bubble. And that's okay, because that was one of the few dreams that were just still a little bit too far out of reach. But hey, at that time, I loved that dream. I loved pushing to that dream. I loved pretending to that dream. And that's totally okay. Sometimes you've got to let that childhood joy, that childhood pretend come through. If you can't do it, why not pretend? Like right now, with the podcast, I may not be reaching hundreds and thousands of people in crazy numbers, but I don't need crazy numbers. I need you, me, the headphones, the camera, the microphone, everything that records it. It's essentially like playing house. I'm playing podcaster, and you're here to join me, if you're here to join me. But at the very end of the day, these are all memories for me to look back on, and that's cool too. Did I have any other crazy dreams? I've always been a live in the lines kind of gal, and I think that's only just coming to hit me now, just how much I lived inside the lines. I didn't dare to dream huge. I didn't dare to dream crazy. And I think now is where I'm starting to realize I can dream crazy, and I can dream big, and I can come up with things I never ever thought of. I want to travel the world. I think anyone who likes to travel would want to travel the world. And everyone's like, oh, but you won't be able to travel the world, da, 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 da. But I could. If money were no object, if time were no object, if work were no object, I could travel the world. So I can get to a point, if I follow the steps, I can get to a point where I can travel the world. So I hope you've started to think about your dreams in a new light. I hope you've started to think about your dreams as something that is pretendable, something that is achievable, something that is outside of societal guidelines. Your dreams are yours. They get to be whatever you want them to be. And I think that is the pure joy about getting to come up with a dream. So, I have honestly enjoyed talking so much about my dreams, and your dreams, and everybody's dreams, and how it is totally okay to dream big. And I feel like daydreaming, dreaming big, girl thing. In a nutshell, it's a girl thing. Daydreaming is another thing entirely. Like, when you zone out, I don't know. I used to daydream more when I was younger than now. But if you're someone who zones out and daydreams, I just zone out now without thinking. If you zone out and daydream, what are you daydreaming about? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Is it those 37 dogs? Is it doing something? Is it this, this, and this? What is it? Think about that. Is that something that could lead you to finding your big, crazy dream? Let's go. Let me be your hype girl. I know the last time we did a solo episode, I was like, I'm going to add a little hype girl affirmation section at the end of every episode. So I want you to just pause. If you're driving, please don't pause. If you're walking or doing anything where you can't pause, please don't pause. Continue what you're doing. But if you're just listening to this in your room or doing whatever, I want you to pause, shut your eyes, find a safe space, and we're going to talk about you. You ready? You are unique. You are incredible. You have achieved more than I think you ever thought was possible. Your dreams aren't silly. Your dreams are big. Your dreams are small. And they're all achievable. You're one of the coolest people. And I don't think you realize that because I don't think we look at ourselves in a positive enough light. So look at yourself in a positive light. What do you love about your friends? What do you love about your friends? What do you see that your friends do that you see in yourself? Love those things. Because you are so worthy. You are so worthy of that love. So stop treating yourself negatively. Stop looking down on yourself. Stop criticizing yourself every time you don't think you're good enough. Because you are good enough. You are enough. And I don't want you to forget that. Remind yourself of your successes. Because you succeeded. You made it through another day. You got out of bed. If you got out of bed. You showered. You did this. You did that. There are always small wins to find. You are beautiful inside and out. And I am so, so happy you're here. So thank you. And I love you. I hope that helps today. Because I know sometimes we don't hear it enough. From ourselves, from other people. So I think it's sometimes important that we just stop and listen to the positive. So today we talked about how we often give up on our big dreams because other people tell us that they're too big, they're too crazy, they're too out there, and that we never achieved them. When in reality, all it takes are the steps, small, medium, big, huge, to get there. So start thinking about your dreams as steps, not as the final goal. A lot of the time, we forget that the journey even exists, and sometimes it's important to actually remember we're on the journey. And I'm possibly thinking about starting like a little 10-minute, 5 to 10 minute episode on a Tuesday, being like Tuesday tea, but not tea because I'm a hot chocky girl. Tuesday hot chocky and gossip with Kate, and have you like send in all your stories and anything in your life, embarrassing, positive, good, wholesome, bad, funny, anonymously, and we'll chat about them. Because I live to hear a little bit of gossip, and I know sometimes you just need a laugh, or to realise that your situation isn't as bad as you thought it was. So let me know, flick me a message, I'll probably post about it on my socials, and you can let me know if you'd be interested. And if I do that, I will post a form in my link tree as well as like to my socials, so you can add your stories in and hope to be featured. But thank you for coming and joining another week, and I'll see you next time. I love you.